Hey classmates, my name is Alex Martinez. I'll be giving a brief lecture on Taoism and Confucianism. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. The images you see here are the symbols which correspond to each belief system. Dr. Jacob Friesenhan mentions that the terms Tao, Taoism, Taoist, D, etc., are all pronounced as if the T were a D. Taoism was founded around 600 to 500 BC by an either real old man or a made up old man named Lao Tzu. He still remains unknown to have existed or not. He was said to believe in the idea of Tao, which means the way. Lao Tzu was asked to write his ideas down, which is now known as Tao Te Ching. It basically consists of philosophy or way of thinking. It connects with the principle of yin and yang. As mentioned earlier, Lao Tzu was asked to write his ideas of living life, and hence came the Tao Te Ching. It's often translated as the Book of the Way and Virtue. The script does consist of 81 chapters. I can say that this teaching has a rather short manuscript in which even the chapters are short as well. Here I have included chapter 81 since I personally have found much meaning within it. I do feel that an individual must be very open-minded and mature in their spirituality in order to better understand what is being said here. This is the last chapter of the teaching material, in which does say a lot. So if you get a chance, read it. Yin and Yang. So yin and yang are present in all things, love, career, or life in general. Opposing forces must be balanced the right way in order to achieve harmony. The symbol represents completion, and that duality is required to achieve equilibrium. Just as the text with Dr. Ferzahan, we can see how one needs the opposite. This depiction can show us how yin and yang represent various mutually dependent opposites. They are symbolic of the dual nature of things and the idea that opposites not only coexist, but also complement and depend on each other to create a dynamic system in which the whole is balanced. So I wanted to share how this idea of yin and yang actually is parallel to what other people from other teachings are. Saint Bonaventure, for one, explored the idea of the coincidence of opposites as a profound theological and physiological principle. He believed that the opposites such as light and darkness, being and not being, finite and infinite, can converge in a higher unity, especially in the mystery of Christ. Bonaventure saw Christ as the center where all opposites meet. In the incarnation, divinity and humanity, eternity and temporality. This paradox reveals the depth of the divine wisdom and love. In Luke 23:32 through 43, the gospel highlights a powerful contrast. One thief remains hardened, while the other finds redemption in his final moments. Yin and Yang. Bruce Lee. While his mother was Catholic and his father was Buddhist, he claimed to be a spiritual atheist. However, his philosophy was heavily influenced by Eastern thought, particularly Taoism. He shared these ideas through his teachings in martial arts. He always said, be like water. These are the three treasures of Taoism, which are virtues. It's compassion, which encourages a life lived in harmony with others, promoting peace and goodwill. Moderation, which is advocates for balance and avoiding excesses in all aspects of life. And the last one's humility, suggests a modest, unassuming approach to life and leadership where one does not put oneself above others. Okay, moving on with Confucianism. Confucianism was founded by a real man, for sure, named Confucius, who lived from 551 to 479 BC. The core texts of Confucianism include the five classics and the four books. During various periods in Chinese history, Confucianism was adopted as the state ideology, influencing the legal and and administrative systems. It also emphasizes social harmony, respect for authority and hierarchy, and the importance of education and self cultivation. The practice places a high value on education as a means of moral development and self improvement. Confucianism provides a framework for ethical living and moral governance, focusing on the cultivation of virtue and maintenance of ethics in personal and public life. As Dr. Juliano puts it, Confucianism is more of a philosophy than a religion. The teaching emphasizes on the golden rule. And what is the golden rule, you ask? Do not do to others what you do not want done to yourself. Vortex and Confucianism. The Five Classics, which a collection of ancient Chinese literature that were regarded as the core of Confucianism. These texts are considered foundational to the Chinese culture and education, embodying moral, philosophical, and political wisdom from ancient China. Here are the five classics: the Book of Changes, the Book of Documents, the Book of Songs, the Book of Rites, and the Spring and Autumn Annals. So the four books, the collection of texts that were selected during the Song Dynasty under influence of the philosopher Zhu as a foundational introduction to Confucian thought. These works became the basis of the civil service examination system in imperial China and have been central to Confucian education. The four books are The Great Learning, The Doctrine of the Mean, The Analects, and Minkus. Teachings of Confucius. Do not do to others what you do not want done to yourself. It does not matter how slowly you go as long as you do not stop. By three methods, we may learn wisdom. First, by reflection, which is noblest. Second, by imitation, which is easiest. And third, by experience, which is the bitterest. To know what you know and what you do not know, that is true knowledge. The gentleman understands what is right, whereas the petty man understands what will sell. Confucius' sayings went on to become a text known as the Analects. A lot of his followers put this together. He emphasized personal and social morality and right relations among persons in society. Wrote to way to virtue. So, role of virtue in Confucianism. Dr. Juliano mentions that it is important to play our part in order for society to flourish. Whereas the Wu Wei, he stated, the more you practice virtue, the easier it comes, such that it becomes natural to you. And he does mention about the second nature. That's where the saying came from. So Wu Wei means living by or going along with the true nature of the world, or at least without obstructing the Tao or Wei. It's letting things take their natural course, going with the flow. Be like water. Both practices were able to coexist because they tolerated each other, and one philosophy did not disturb the other. So, drawing from Dr. Friesenhand's insights, Confucianism and Taoism reflect two distinct orientations that align with urban and rural life, respectively. Confucianism is suited for social city contexts. Its emphasis on social order shows Confucianism thrives in structured environments where hierarchy, roles, and rituals maintain harmony. For urban governance, its focus is on education, bureaucracy, and moral leadership makes it ideal for cities and institutions. Also, community and relationships value interpersonal duties such as filial piety loyalty, and propriety, which are central to densely populated societies. Taoism is suited for rural, natural contexts. Harmony with nature, which shows that Taoism encourages living in tune with the rhythms of the natural world, making it more compatible with rural life. Its simplicity and spontaneity favors minimal interference, advocating for Wu Wei, which is effortless action, which resonates with agrarian lifestyles. The idea of individual retreat in Taoism often promotes solitude, reflection, and withdrawal from societal complexity, which is more feasible in rural settings. Together, Taoism and Confucianism reflect the yin yang of Chinese philosophical life, one shaping society, the other nurturing the soul. All right, classmates, this is it. This is what y'all been waiting for. Questions to reflect on. So, of the two teachings, what concept do you believe to be more reliable as a better way of living? Another question is, what are your thoughts on the text that I included from Tao Te Ching out of chapter 81? And then the last one is, what have you experienced that pertains to the ideas of yin and yang? Appreciate y'all's time.